Chapter 7. Spring was marble season for the small boys of Haskell. They all made their own marbles. Below the rose hedge at the edge of the school grounds was a clay bank. That clay was just right for making marbles. The boys would shape it into little round balls and dry them in the sun. Jimmy and Jonas and Albert and Iggy pushed through the hedge one afternoon to see if their marbles were hard enough to use. There was John, busily making a batch for himself. "Hi, John," said Albert. "Be sure you don't pick up any of our marbles," cried Jonas. "By mistake, that is." The boys all laughed. They ran to look at the marbles they had made the day before. "Huh?" said John, frowning. "Who wants yours? They're all lopsided anyway." Jonas and Albert and Iggy had made 20 or 30 marbles apiece, but Jimmy had made only 3. A big one for a shooter and 2 more. John jumped up. "Say, Jimmy, why'd you make only 3?" he demanded. "Why, 3 will be enough. When we start playing, I'll win more." "Some people like to brag," said John. "They talk and talk, but it means no more than the wind up the chimney." Jimmy was surprised. He hadn't meant to brag. "Why, I only told the truth," he said. He thought suddenly, maybe that sounds like bragging too. "I mean, I always do win some," Jimmy stuttered. That sounded wrong too. "Some people who win like to impress others with their victories," John said stiffly. Jimmy squared his jaw. He was usually easygoing. He didn't mind being teased, but John wasn't teasing. He was accusing Jimmy of acting puffed up, and I'm not, thought Jimmy. "Oh, don't listen to John," Jonas said. "It's only heap big wind who wastes his breath on a hot day." All the boys laughed. John did like to talk, but John didn't laugh. Jonas's remark only made him angrier. "Some people," he said, giving Jimmy a push, "don't know how to behave. Some people," he didn't get to finish. He and Jimmy were rolling over and over on the ground. "Watch out for the marbles," cried Iggy, but the boys couldn't stop. They rolled on John's soft marbles and ruined them all. Jimmy was strong and he fought hard, but John was bigger. He pinned Jimmy's shoulders to the ground. "Enough," Jimmy panted. The boys got to their feet and they shook hands. "Well, it was a good fight anyway," said Jimmy, though he didn't like being downed, "and I didn't mean to brag." "Whew," Jimmy gasped. "For such a small boy, you sure are a good fighter." Albert laughed. "Hello, small boy," and the others all laughed and teased Jimmy, but he flushed in embarrassment, but he grinned. John said, "I'm sorry I got mad." He turned back to his work. "My marbles," he shouted in dismay. They were all squished flat. Now the laugh was on John, but the boys sat to work to help him make some more. "He must have plenty for us to win," said Iggy. "The rest of the marbles are ready," Jonas said. "Let's have a game." The boys gathered up their marbles and ran for the playground. "John can make speeches to his marbles while they're drying," said Albert. John stood open-mouthed, and for once he couldn't think of anything to say. After supper the next evening, everyone in school went out to enjoy the fine weather. The girls strolled back and forth between their dormitory and the office, and on the chapel steps the band tootled away. It was learning new tunes for commencement day. Over on one playground, the baseball team was practicing, and on the new athletic field, many of the bigger boys were limbering up for the track and field contest to be held on commencement day. Jimmy and his friends walked along, looking around. They couldn't decide what to do. "How about a baseball game?" Jonas suggested, "or maybe some more marbles. How about you, John? Do you want to play marbles?" Albert chuckled. "John has lost his already." Jimmy couldn't help smiling. His pockets were full of marbles. He had beaten everybody. "Do you need some marbles, John?" he asked innocently. "I think I have a few extra." The boys all laughed and teased John. "Here you are, John." Jimmy gave him several handfuls of marbles. "Well," said John, "these will soon be back in your pockets, Jimmy, but it'll make a better game if I have some to begin with." The boys stopped at the athletic field. "Let's watch for a minute," Jimmy said. "How many races do they have at commencement?" "Oh, they have everything. 100-yard dash, 200-yard dash, potato race, and the hop, skip, and jump. And the broad jump, and the high jump, and the baseball throw, and the shot put," Iggy added. "We ought to try these things too," said Jimmy. "That would be fun." "I guess there isn't any sport you don't like," said Jonas. "Which race do you like best?" "Well, I like all of them," Jimmy said. And he watched the boys running and jumping. How he wished he was doing those stunts with the bigger boys. "There'll be a hurdle race too," Jonas remembered. "See, Ernie Tredo is trying it now." Ernie dashed along the track. He vaulted the wooden hurdles one after another. Jimmy watched Tom Moonlight jumping and Walter Harris practicing hop, skip, and jump, and each event looked more fun than the last. Why, those races are all about follow my leader, he thought. He asked, would they let any of us try? I guess we'd all have to grow some first, Jonas said. Especially you, small boy, Iggy laughed. Then let's have some games of our own. Jimmy shouted, come on, I'll race you to the playground. And for several weeks, marbles and baseball were all forgotten while the boys ran and jumped and threw. And as he tried all the different events, Jimmy kept thinking, truly, there is no end to the wonders of sports.